He thought he was marrying rich Part 2. Chapter 6, Access Granted. It started with a croissant. A soft, buttery thing dusted with powdered sugar and placed carefully beside a mug of dark roast black, no sugar, just the way Jason claimed to like it, though he always added 2 Splendas when he thought Emma wasn't looking. "You're spoiling me," he said that morning, padding into the kitchen in joggers, hair tousled in that fake casual way that still managed to look curated. "What's the occasion?" Emma smiled sweetly from across the marble island. "No occasion," she said, sliding him the coffee. "Just thinking about us." "About the future?" Jason's eyebrows lifted. "Oh. I was reading something last night," she said, stirring her own tea chamomile, untouched about financial transparency in marriages. "You know, openness, accountability. All that healthy couple stuff." Jason blinked, caught off guard for a moment. Then he recovered, fast. He was always quick when money came up, quick to perform vulnerability, to act like he'd never had it, like wealth still made him flinch. "I mean, sure," he said. "I love that. We should be a team in everything." "I was thinking," Emma trailed off, letting the moment sit. Jason leaned in. "We should open a joint account." He tried to hide the twitch in his smile, the slight pause before his nod, but Emma saw it. The flicker of greed behind his practiced charm. "Really?" he said, tone soft, wounded, as if she'd just offered him the kind of love he'd never known. "Yes," Emma replied. "We're getting married. What's mine is yours, right?" Jason reached for her hand across the counter. "You have no idea how much that means to me." "Oh," she did. The bank appointment was scheduled for the next afternoon. Emma wore soft pastels and a diamond tennis bracelet, the very image of a wealthy fiancé ready to merge lives and assets. Jason, ever the professional grifter, showed up in a navy suit and an earnest smile that looked like it belonged on a pamphlet for joint tax filing. The banker, a young man named Cole who wore a gold tie clip and smelled faintly of ambition, guided them through the process. "So," Cole said, typing rapidly, "do you want both of your emails to receive alerts?" Emma beamed. "Just his, actually. I get too many notifications." "One of those hyper-organized types." Jason chuckled. "She alphabetizes her apps." "I'm not kidding." They laughed together like the perfect couple, while Emma reached down and pressed the soft leather of her purse where her phone buzzed silently with a message from Chloe. Dummy email fully rooted. "He'll never know." X. By the time they left the bank, Jason's walk was a little lighter. That night, he celebrated with expensive wine he claimed to have found on sale. Emma let him pour it while mentally noting the name for the next time she rerouted the card activity. Because the email he gave the bank? j.p.ward42@gmail.com, his official inbox, the one he used for job applications, fitness tracking apps, and junk mail. But Emma had Chloe create a mirror inbox, one with a matching name and a silent forwarding loop. Every single transaction, balance update, and notification? It would hit her private cloud storage first. The only alerts Jason would ever see were the ones she let him see. She'd even gone a step further. Every time he logged in, he'd get a sleek, polished dashboard thanks to a little help from Vanessa and her ex-roommate, a UX designer with a grudge and a talent for faking interfaces. Jason thought he had access. He didn't. Emma smiled that night as she watched him sleep. Not lovingly, analytically. Like a scientist observing a very stupid rat navigate a very expensive maze. He'd think he was stacking the chips. She was already shuffling the deck. The next morning, Jason casually suggested they go over their wedding budget. Emma sipped her coffee. "I trust you," she said, with a voice that could cut glass. Access granted. But only to the vault she wanted him to see. Chapter 7, Operation Drain and Ditch. It began with $28.73. An Uber ride Emma never took. She logged in from a secured laptop, one she kept in the bottom drawer of her vanity, disguised in a pale pink case labeled hair curler. Vanessa had given her the encrypted VPN settings, and Chloe had installed a little custom-coded dashboard that would keep every transaction quiet and scrubbed. She transferred the $28.73 from the joint checking to a side account, a shell company under the name Langford Ventures LLC, which sounded bland, legitimate, and not at all like a personal revenge fund. Jason didn't notice. Of course he didn't. He was too busy obsessing over venues with vaulted ceilings and dramatic staircases, the kind he could dramatically descend when they made their grand entrance as newlyweds. Emma just smiled and nodded, every time he said, "Don't worry, babe. I'll cover it with our money." The second withdrawal was $412.10. Just enough to mimic a hotel hold fee. She even tagged it the Mirabelle bridal tour in the memo line. Jason noticed that one. "Did we already put down a deposit?" he asked over breakfast, stabbing his avocado toast. Emma shrugged, casual. They had a cancellation policy. I didn't want to lose the spot. He grinned. "You're so ahead of this." "Always," she said. By the third week, she'd siphoned $13,000. Tiny sums, some tagged as florists, others disguised as transfers to caterers or bridal stylists. A few even had vague labels like Mini Moon placeholder, refundable. Jason was impressed. "See? We're doing this smart," he said, tapping on his phone, scrolling through the polished interface Emma had designed for him. "Budget's tight, but we've still got wiggle room." "You're incredible." Emma leaned over, kissed him lightly on the cheek. "You haven't seen anything yet," she whispered. Each day, she moved more. $1,152.77 for a fake invitation calligrapher. $2,980 to secure the harpist. $419.95 for a fake charge to a white glove dry cleaning, which was, in fact, Chloe buying burner phones and encrypted drives. Her system was flawless. Every dollar went into the trust, the Astor Foundation, created under a corporate umbrella in the Caymans. Totally untraceable. Not illegal, technically. Just invisible. Vanessa's lawyer friend handled the paperwork. And all of it was sitting in Emma's control. Not Jason's. Not shared. Hers. She could have drained the entire account in one move. But that would have been too loud. This wasn't about taking. It was about training him not to notice he was being robbed. It was about rehearsing the final act the moment she'd vanish, and leave him wondering when it all slipped away. "You know," Jason said one night as he scrolled through Instagram, "I've been thinking of quitting my job. Once we're married, maybe I can help you run your investments. Be like a CFO for the Langford family fortune." Emma didn't look up from her book. "Sounds romantic." He smiled at her. "You trust me, right?" Emma turned a page. "With everything," she said. By the end of the month, the account showed just under $4,200 in liquid cash. Everything else? Gone. Drip by drip. Like slow poison in champagne. And Jason? Still smiling. Still planning his perfect future. Still utterly blind. Chapter 8, Caviar Dreams, Instant Noodles Reality. Jason liked to spend big when other people were watching. So when he booked the Giselle Couture cake experience, it wasn't just about cake, it was about status. Giselle Laurent was the pastry queen of the rich and neurotic. Her cakes had Swarovski crystals embedded in the frosting, edible 24K gold leaves, and personalized monograms hand-piped by Swiss artisans. There was even a wait list. A wait list, for cake. Jason had waited all of 12 seconds before calling in a favor with a guy he knew. When the appointment was confirmed, he waltzed into Emma's sunlit kitchen, holding a glossy invitation in both hands like he was presenting her with a royal scroll. "Cake tasting," he said, grinning. "Saturday. Noon." Giselle herself. Emma raised a brow. "That's a $10,000 deposit." He winked. "It's an investment." And Emma, ever the supportive fiancé, pressed a hand to her heart. "You're too good to me." Saturday arrived in all its decadent glory. The Giselle atelier was tucked inside a gated estate in the hills, white marble floors, champagne served in flutes so delicate they practically wept. A classical harpist played somewhere out of sight. Jason strutted inside in his fitted beige blazer and designer loafers, beaming like he was marrying royalty, which, to be fair, in his mind, he was. Emma followed 2 steps behind, calm, glowing, playing her role with Oscar-worthy subtlety. Giselle herself greeted them, tall, terrifyingly French, and dressed entirely in winter white. She swept them through a glass corridor into a tasting room that looked like a Versailles tea salon. Laid out in front of them were samples of 7-tier cakes, chocolate hazelnut ganache with gold-dusted raspberries, lemon lavender chiffon with heirloom rose petals, and a vegan vanilla sponge filled with hand-whipped almond cream. Jason moaned dramatically with every bite, talking loudly about how money's not an object when it's art. Emma nibbled at a corner of the saffron cream brulee slice, watching him over the rim of her champagne glass. She already knew what was coming. When Giselle's assistant brought the tablet over to finalize the deposit, Jason practically lunged for it. "Put it all on our joint card," he said, grinning. "Let's lock it in." Emma turned slightly away, pretending to text. But she didn't need to, the trigger had already been pulled. The card reader beeped once. Then again. A pause. A frown. "Oh," said the assistant. "I'm sorry. It's been declined." Jason's eyes twitched. "What?" She tried again. Still declined. Emma leaned in, her expression carefully puzzled. "That's odd. It worked yesterday for the florist." Jason chuckled, too loudly. "We've been putting so many deposits down lately. Maybe it triggered a fraud alert." Giselle's mouth flattened into a line. "Your assistant may call the bank from the front." Jason pulled out his phone, thumbs flying. Emma pretended to scroll Instagram. Behind her neutral expression, she was savoring every second, the twitch in his eye, the forced casualness in his voice, the way his fingers tapped too fast on his screen. He stepped outside to make a call. Emma excused herself and followed a moment later, pretending to answer her own phone as she leaned against the gilded doorframe and listened. Jason was hissing into the line. "What do you mean there's only $4 grand in the account? No, that's impossible. We had over 60. I just know." "No, I didn't authorize any." "Yes, I know it says bridal calligraphy, but I don't care if it's been processed, reverse it." Pause. A heavy silence. "No, I didn't open a trust account. I don't even know what the hell is Langford Ventures." Emma stifled a laugh and quietly re-entered the tasting room before he could notice. When he finally came back in, Jason's face was all smiles again, a man trying to staple his pride back together in real time. "There's been a hold on the card," he announced to Giselle. "Just a routine verification thing. You know how it is." Giselle looked unimpressed. "We will hold your cake design for 72 hours, she said icily. "After that, we cannot guarantee availability." "Of course," Jason said, voice tightening around the edges. "Thank you so much." Emma linked her arm through his and smiled sweetly as they exited into the gold-trimmed lobby. "Everything okay?" she asked, innocent as a lamb. Jason clenched his jaw. "Fine. Just some temporary nonsense. Banking can be so frustrating," she said. "Maybe we should go home and make a budget." He gave her a look. "You're not mad?" "Why would I be?" she said. And she meant it. Because what he didn't know was, the account wasn't frozen. The account was empty. It had just been redirected. And the cake? He'd get a slice of that too on his face before this was over. Chapter 9, The Hidden Camera Incident. There was something wrong with the sweater. Emma didn't know it at first, not consciously. It was one of her favorites, a soft, cream cashmere pullover, folded on the top shelf of her walk-in closet the same way her housekeeper always left it. Except this time, something was off. It wasn't the sweater itself. It was the way it sat, just slightly misaligned, like it had been hastily repositioned. Too precise to be careless, too imperfect to be intentional. Emma reached up, gently moved the sleeve aside. That's when she saw it. A small, matte black object tucked behind the stack of knits, no bigger than a lipstick tube. Not obvious, but not quite hidden either. Her breath caught. She pulled the sweater down slowly, carefully revealing what was nestled behind it. A camera. Tiny. Wireless. And very, very real. She stared at it for a moment, her heart beat loud in her ears. No branding. No blinking light. Just a narrow lens pointed directly at the full-length mirror across from her dressing area. Emma didn't scream. Didn't gasp. She didn't even flinch. She smiled. Then, slowly, deliberately, she stepped back until she was fully in frame. She tucked her hair behind her ears, smoothed the satin lapels of her robe, and gave the lens a long, steady look. Then she waved. Not a friendly wave. A knowing one, the kind of wave you give when you see through someone's mask and want them to know it. She tilted her head. Whispered, barely above a breath. Smile, asshole. 30 minutes later, Chloe and Vanessa arrived like a pair of stylish assassins. Vanessa was already in damage control mode, phone out, AirPods in, whispering to her cybersecurity contact. He's sloppy, she muttered, pacing Emma's kitchen in heels. He must have installed it himself. These don't usually connect to public cloud storage. He's probably got a receiver stashed somewhere. Maybe a hard drive. Emma stood near the kitchen island, arms crossed, face unreadable. Can you track it? She asked. Not without tripping an alert, Vanessa replied. But I can fry the feed. Or better, she looked up, smirking. We feed him. Chloe perked up. Like a sting operation. Vanessa nodded. He wants footage? Let's give him a show. Emma raised a brow. You want me to perform? No, Vanessa said, opening a sleek silver laptop. You just have to exist. I'll handle the rest. That night, Emma stood in front of the mirror in her closet again, same robe, same lighting. She moved like she was unaware of the camera. She hummed softly. She pretended to talk to herself. Should I wear the Cartier necklace or the diamond choker? She murmured. She held up the options, turning them in the light. Oh, he'll love this one. Expensive taste, she said with a smile, then paused, looking directly into the lens for half a second, just long enough to be chilling. She ran her fingers across her lips. Don't worry, baby. You'll get everything you deserve. She unplugged the camera 3 seconds later. The next day, Jason was unusually quiet. Fidgety. Distracted. He kept glancing at his phone, even more than usual. When Emma offered him coffee, he said thanks without looking up. When she asked what was wrong, he said nothing too quickly. He knew she'd found it. But he didn't know what she knew. And that? That was the real game now. He'd tried to spy on her. She'd seen him coming. And she wasn't just one step ahead. She was building a trap inside his trap. Later that night, Emma texted Vanessa, "Cam's out. He's twitching. Let's make him sweat." Vanessa replied instantly, "Time to squeeze." Chapter 10, Exposé, interrupted. Emma had rehearsed the confrontation a dozen times. She'd imagined it over her morning coffee, in the shower, while browsing absurdly expensive centerpieces that Jason had bookmarked in a shared Pinterest board titled "Forever and Always Ring." She'd start with calm. She'd lure him in. She'd hold up the camera like a magician revealing the final trick. "Smile, Jason. You're already on film." She'd watch his face crumble, or harden, or explode. She wasn't sure which version she wanted more. But most of all, she wanted the truth. Out loud. On record. She was ready. Tonight was the night. Jason had just returned from what he claimed was a meeting with the violinist. He smelled like cigar smoke and cologne that wasn't his. His jacket was draped over one shoulder, hair tousled, smile crooked in that boy next door but sleazy way. "Hey, babe," he said, pecking her cheek. "I got us samples from that truffle bar you liked." Emma didn't smile. She stood by the kitchen island, arms crossed, phone in one hand, the tiny camera in the other already tucked into a clear evidence bag. Jason dropped the little gift box on the marble and looked up. He froze. "What's that?" he asked casually, nodding to the bag. Emma stared at him. "Why don't you tell me?" Jason's eyes flicked from the camera to her face. He tilted his head slightly, lips parting just enough to prepare the lie, to try on the right version of confusion. But before he could speak her phone rang. She glanced down. "Vanessa." She didn't answer. Jason started to step forward. "Emma, I don't know what you think that is, but..." The phone rang again. Same name. Same urgency. Emma held up a hand, sharp and cold. "Don't." She turned her back on him and answered. "Vanessa, not a great time," she said tightly. Vanessa's voice came through, breathless and fast. "Stop. Don't confront him." Emma blinked. "I'm literally holding the smoking gun." Vanessa's voice dropped an octave. "He's planning to run." Silence. Emma stepped into the hallway, away from Jason's line of sight. "Run when?" "After the wedding. 2 days later, tops. I just got access to his burner phone data. He's been texting someone about wire transfers in a backup life fund. There's an offshore account. He's stashing something big, Emma's heart thudded. "Where?" "Dubai. He booked a suite. One-way ticket, under an alias." Emma's jaw clenched. "If you confront him now, he'll vanish. He'll cut his losses and run before the wedding. But if you wait..." Vanessa's voice turned sharp, deliberate. "He'll walk straight into the fire." Emma exhaled slowly, her pulse slowing with every breath. "Are you sure?" "I'm so sure I just cancelled my Pilates membership to stay in town." Emma almost smiled. She looked down at the camera in her hand. She could confront him now. Blow it all open. Watch him squirm, lie, lash out, maybe even beg. But what was one dramatic moment? When she could have an entire orchestra of ruin. She turned around and walked back into the kitchen. Jason was waiting, fake concern painted across his face. "Everything okay?" he asked. "You look tense." Emma slid the camera back into her pocket. "Vanessa," she said breezily. "She's having a dress crisis." "Typical." Jason chuckled. "Tell her I said hi. And that she still owes me for that tequila spill." Emma smiled sweetly. "She'll settle up. In ways you can't even imagine." Jason laughed, oblivious. Emma leaned over, picked up the truffle box, and bit into one. Bitter chocolate melted on her tongue. The confrontation could wait. Because now, she had a departure date. And he had no idea he was flying straight into the inferno. Chapter 11, Bachelor Party Bombshell. The bachelor party was Jason's idea of heaven: rooftop bar, velvet robe, obnoxious cocktails, and more cologne than an airport duty-free. He'd booked a private lounge downtown at Club Celeste, where the booths were upholstered in blood-red leather and the waitresses wore smiles that didn't reach their eyes. The whole night reeked of overcompensation, from the cigar rollers in the corner to the guy in a glitter tux mixing nitrogen cocktails for the gram. Emma hadn't been invited, of course. Jason had made a whole performance of it. "No girls allowed," he'd grinned. "It's sacred." Emma had kissed his cheek and said, "Have fun," as if she didn't already have a woman inside his inner circle, ready to set fire to the whole night. That woman was Vanessa. She showed up at 10:47 p.m. Slick red lips. Black satin slip dress. Stroppy heels that clicked like countdowns. She didn't go through the front. She slipped in through the service entrance, passed off as a last-minute bottle girl sub by a hostess Vanessa had once helped ghostwrite a breakup text. Everyone owed Vanessa something. She never forgot it. Inside, the party was already in full swing. Jason was on his third old-fashioned, talking loudly about his high-yield portfolio while some trust fund bro fake laughed and clapped him on the back. His best man Darren, a sweaty ex-college roommate with too many chain bracelets, was deep in conversation with a pair of dancers who looked bored enough to levitate. Vanessa watched from a shadowed alcove, then approached with surgical timing right as Darren leaned over the bar to order another round. She slipped beside him like a whisper. "You ordering for the groom?" Darren turned, took one look, and did a double take. "Well, hello." Vanessa smiled. "You look like someone who knows where the real party is." They found a quieter corner 10 minutes later, tucked into a half-lit booth near the DJ booth. Darren was easy prey, already buzzed, already bragging, already eager to impress a mysterious stranger in a thigh-high slit and a honey-coated voice. "I mean, I've known Jason forever," he slurred. "He's always had it, you know? That entrepreneurial edge." Vanessa leaned in. "What kind of edge?" Darren smirked. "The kind that lands you a millionaire fiancé and a backup bank account in Dubai." Click. The recording started. Vanessa blinked. "Wait, what?" Darren snorted. "Oh, don't act surprised. You're not dumb. He's not marrying for love, babe. Jason's playing a long game. He gets the ring, the assets, and then, poof. He snapped his fingers. 2 days after the wedding, he's out. Dubai, baby. Clean start, clean cash." Vanessa tilted her head. "He told you this?" "Hell yeah. I helped him fake some documents. You should see the prenup he's been editing. He's got a version she's never even seen." Vanessa pretended to laugh, brushing his knee. "Wow. That's a lot." Darren leaned in, smug. "Emma's a smart girl, but love makes you blind." "And Jason? He could sell sand to a drowning man." She clicked the lock button on her phone. Recording, saved. Uploaded. Synced. Mission complete. Vanessa slipped away during the DJ's third remix of Hotline Bling, disappearing into the VIP exit and vanishing before Darren could ask for her number. By 2 a.m., the audio file was sitting in a password-locked folder titled Final Bullet. She texted Emma only 2 words, "Bomb dropped." Emma replied 1 minute later, "Target marked. No survivors." Jason, meanwhile, stumbled into an Uber, blissfully unaware that his best man had just sold him out over a free whiskey and a smile. He was still buzzing, still laughing, still convinced the universe was on his side. And the clock? It was ticking.
In a world of secrets, power, and broken hearts, one click could change everything. Like what you just watched. Then like, subscribe, and ring that bell, or risk missing the next scandal. Drop a comment below, we're always watching. Billionaires and family drama, where love is rare, but drama is guaranteed.